Hi guys, I am at Renard's Cheese on our way to Door County. Moms, I'm sure that you're having time with your family, so you might watch this later. I was gonna get outside here at Renard's Cheese. I think I'm saying that right. But it's still a little chilly. Even though we're true Wisconsin people and the sun is shining, I couldn't handle it. I was going to sit on a bench and I thought, well, children could be playing in the playground next to me. I'll be in the sun, and I got back in my car. So anyway, we're on our way to Door County. We actually are doing Mother's Day in Door County because that was my request. And Pastor talked today in the message for Mother's Day about rest. And it wasn't just for mothers, about mothers, but talk about very fitting, but it's for all of us about rest. And one thing that he talked about is that on the Sabbath, it's not just about just laying around and doing nothing. I think that's a misconception. Actually, rest, and it comes from time on the Sabbath where you're investing in yourself. And I talked about it a few Proverbs back a few days ago last week, that to really live out that passion and purpose, you find something you're passionate about, the way God created you, and it actually brings you fulfillment. And honestly, you feel refreshed, which isn't the goal of rest, to make us feel refreshed. And when we're living out our purpose, we suddenly are refreshed. And so I would recommend watching today's message, or Monday Night Live, the message tomorrow night. I also would recommend you go back about rest, because it's not just laying around. It's not about 10 hours of sleep. There's a lot of people who are living in depression and they sleep 16 hours a day, and that's not helping them. So rest in the Sabbath is not sleeping more. As Pastor talked about, it's quality of sleep. So I loved everything about it. And the reason I'm talking about it now is because we're headed to Door County, because it would be a place that I find rest and refreshing. And so my family and I are driving up. We're actually in separate cars because they're going to leave me there today. And I know that every few months I need an additional amount of rest, of refreshing. And it's not even like I need it like I'm going to lose my mind, I need it. Now I see it as a rhythm, that besides my weekly refreshing, my daily refreshing, which really comes from the Bible, there's like, I need an extra bit of it. And so tomorrow I'm just going to sit probably in a hoodie or a coat, but look at the water, sit in Door County. Probably will do a Proverbs from some dock in Door County, and just ask Jesus to just fill me up more, just even more than, I already feel full, and the Bible is doing that. But that is a side note to what Proverbs 12 is about. So Proverbs 12, I just am going to whip through this, because Proverbs 12 gets us into how Proverbs can really be throughout all the chapters, which is just one-liner after another. Although it's two-liners, most Proverbs they're two lines, but one two-liner after another. And like Proverbs 12 is talking about 16 things in one chapter. It doesn't even have a theme. It's literally like advice for success in life. So that's the theme of today, or the title, the way I see it for Proverbs 12, advice for success in life. And we're going to be all over the map. So start taking notes, and maybe you'll have to rewatch this to get all of it. Verse 1, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. I wrote out to the side, lift your lid. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. Those are people who are going, lift my lid of capacity, God. Like, I'm going to love discipline so that I get better. On to verse 2. Good people obtain favor from the Lord. I put out to the side, the hand of God, or favor of God. It says that good people obtain favor from God. You know what the requirement is to have the hand of God or the favor of God on your life? It's not a magic potion. It's not that he only chooses some. It's to be good people. Good people obtain the favor of the Lord, but he condemns those who devise wicked schemes. I want to live with the hand of God, the favor of God on my life. And on to verse 3. No one can be established through wickedness, but the righteous cannot be uprooted. The righteous cannot be uprooted. I wrote out to the side, no attack will stop us. God, I want to be righteous, and all righteous means is being in right standing with God. So God, if I'm in right standing with you, I cannot be uprooted. No attack will stop us. Love that. On to verse 4. A wife of noble character is her husband's crown, but a disgraceful wife is like decay in his bones. I wrote out to the side, pick the right spouse. We know that. We know that in people that we see, and we go, oh, she's awesome, but wow, him, or he's awesome, but she, woo. Okay, I know, Sean and I never say that at all, you know. But you know someone who talks about that and goes, what happened? How'd they find each other? It's warned about in verse 4. A disgraceful wife is like decay in his bones. Dang. And on to verse 5. See how it's just everywhere, but it's also good. Verse 5. The plans of the righteous are just, but the advice of the wicked is deceitful. I wrote out to the side, pick your friends well. So verse 4 is pick your spouse well. Verse 5 is pick your friends well. The advice of the wicked is deceitful. None of us would want to say we have a friend or a person in our life who's wicked. But remember I talked about yesterday, there's wicked in all of us. There's evil in all of us because we live in a fallen earth, and we were preceded by the first two people on earth couldn't get it right, and we're not going to always get it right. And there are things I need to always ask God, where is the wicked? Search the wicked, the evil ways in me. So yes, there are friends that they're giving terrible advice. And verse 5 says, the advice of the wicked is deceitful. So pick your friends well. I'm just going to read verse 6 and 7. The words of the wicked lie in wait for blood, but the speech of the upright rescues them. Hopefully you're writing out to the side something that stirs you. The wicked are overthrown and are no more, but the house of the righteous stands firm. Again, like verse 3, no attack will stop us. I'm going to skip down to verse 9 because I wrote something else out to the side. It says, better to be a nobody and yet have a servant than to pretend to be somebody and have no food. I wrote out to the side the quote, in quotes, fake it till you make it. Nope. Probably not the best advice. Obviously, in the context of how someone uses that quote that gets used a lot, fake it till you make it. Maybe that could have a good meaning if they're using it in a different context. But to be honest, to be like, I don't have money, but I got a good car. I can't pay my utilities, but I'm faking it till I make it. I'm going to go buy clothes at the mall with my tax returns, but I can't pay my bills. No, Proverbs actually says, better to be a nobody and yet have a servant. Meaning not faking it like you got it all together, but like you have money, like you have the ability to pay someone because you got your bills paid and you're paying a servant, than to pretend to be somebody and have no food. Dang. Okay, moving on to verse 11. Those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense. I wrote out to the side, no joke. Get a job. I had fun with this one. Okay, verse 15. The way of fools seems right to them, but the wise listen to advice. I wrote out to the side, then take, when people tack on, God is telling me to do this, and we take the Lord's name in vain. So let me reread that. The way of fools seems right to them, but the wise listen to advice. The wise would say, I'm thinking about taking this job. I'm thinking about buying a new house. What do you, maybe Jesus people, my family, think about that? The wise listen to advice, but the way of fools seems right to them. So the way of fools might be like, oh, I sold my house, I got out of my apartment. I gave my notice. I'm getting a house. It's more than we can afford, but we know that we're going to hit it big. Or I'm thinking about leaving my spouse. I'm done. And we never got advice because we just wanted to go with it. It says the way of fools seems right to them. And then the worst thing is when we tack on, well, God is telling me. God is telling me to leave my job. Now, sometimes God is telling you, but if we're just tacking that on in order to sound as though we don't need advice, that's not what wise people do. Wise people listen to advice. And of course, godly advice, Jesus people advice. So I'll show you my other side. You can see I wrote out to the side a ton. There's so much goodness in Proverbs 12. So I left you with more verses that I didn't give you my opinion on. We don't like to give opinion, but there are things that the verses spur on to understand and go, how does this speak to me? So I left you with more verses that I didn't say what spoke to me, so that you can write out to the side what it says to you. So the Proverbs 12 day is all about advice for success in life. If I could just live off of Proverbs 12 for a year, just go, I'm just going to do these things right. Man, my life in a year will probably look better. Yours will look better. It will feel better. There will be more peace. When we implement anything from the Bible, we will feel peace. Wisdom brings peace. Wisdom brings guidance. Wisdom brings hope. And that's what Proverbs is all about, is bringing an attribute of God, which is wisdom, which will then bring peace, hope, guidance. So I love Proverbs 12. That is such a fun one. Actually, Proverbs 13 and most of the chapters going forward, you're going to feel like kind of like a ping pong. It's not a ping pong. What is it? I can't think of it. Not ping pong. It's the, Aubrey, you're next to me. What is the game that you play and you pull back the thing, the arcade game, and it hits all? Somebody say this on here. Tell me what I'm talking about. Where you pull back the little thing on the arcade game and the ball goes and hits all different directions. It's not ping pong. It's a ball. You'll help me out later. I'll see it and go, duh. Pinball. Thank you, Lisa. Pinball. Thank you, Lydia. Pinball. These chapters, everybody's now telling me, Sonny, it's pinball. These chapters over and over again, every day from here on out, you're going to feel a little like a pinball. Like, oh my gosh, we're talking about marriage. We're talking about children. We're talking about work. We're talking about morality. It'll feel a bit like a pinball machine every time you read Proverbs from here on out, but it's because God can give us more than one thing to chew on a day. And ultimately, don't they all fall under fear of the Lord, wisdom, living a godly life? So today's pinball is advice for life. I love you guys. Will you share this? I forgot to say that in the beginning. We actually are going to, I asked Pastor Jonathan today, he said, we're going to put up Proverbs 1 through 31 on the Jesus Plus Life YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel called Jesus Plus Life where there's the videos of interviews where I'm with other people talking about how Jesus can be a part of every part of our life. Well, you can subscribe on YouTube. And we've had more people that don't even have a connection to Life Church subscribe to that channel because they're seeing like self-help and self-care and mind, body, soul. And it's just people searching YouTube or Google and it's popping up. So they're subscribing to this channel. And in the middle of it, they end up getting Jesus. Well, we're going to add these Proverbs videos 1 through 31. We'll be adding them as we go. And then in the end, I love it that in 2 years from now, somebody could watch Proverbs 1 through 31 on that YouTube channel, and it'll never get lost in our Facebook feed. So I think that's super cool. Glad we're going to get to do that. And is there anything else I need to tell you? Oh, find time to rest today. If you're a mom, find time to watch the message maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow on Monday Night Live. Sabbath. We're going to have a Sabbath today, and my Sabbath includes my family because that brings me refreshing. My Sabbath is going to include looking at the water because I know I get rest, not by sleeping, but by seeing that. And so I do want to point you back to that. I thought today went so well with just kind of where we've been on this journey of Proverbs. And honestly, it's just part of who I am. I'm all about rest, refreshing, because if I'm not good, I'm not good for anyone. So I want to be good for my kids and my hubby and my church and you. So I'm excited for tomorrow and for the weeks to come as I personally get more rest, and I hope you get that too. So love you guys. Proverbs 12, share. Start a watch party, watch it again if you just logged on late. And then we will see you tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning, all week long. I will be logging on, and tomorrow morning we'll be somewhere outside to do that Facebook Live. Love you guys.